Hello, my name is Andrew Grieve. I've got an interesting question for you, and the context to this is about a year ago, I was working at Stryker, and one of my coworkers was a Muslim, and he was listening to one of his sermons, and one of the things that the gentleman said was he was primarily disputing the resurrection of Jesus as it's explained in Matthew 27:62 through 28:6. And one of the things that he was pointing out was in
Matthew 27 what?
27:62 through 28:6. And primarily what he was disputing was what Jesus had said back in chapter 12 in verse 39 and 40, where it says that just as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the great fish, so will the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. Now, the point that he was making was that we celebrate Good Friday as the day that Jesus was crucified, but we celebrate Easter on a Sunday, and what he was looking at was, he was like, technically, if you were to look at it at the very most, you'd be looking at 3 days and 2 nights. But but I'm not sure if the Jewish calendar was different. But just how would that work exactly, or how did it work exactly?
Wonderful question. And since we're rolling right into Easter week, that would be a great one just to pick up on next time, since it is 7/17. But for those of you that love to study, Harold Honer from Dallas Seminary did some of his greatest work on the chronology of not just Passion Week, but all the difficult things. And basically, in the Jewish reckoning, you all know this, that sundown starts a day. So at sundown, a day starts. So right here is a new day. If you are any moment before sundown, you have another day. And if you make it past the next sundown, so sundown to sundown, if you make it to the next sundown, this is one day, because it's before the day begins at sundown. And at the next sundown, this is an entire day. This would be the second day. And if you make it into into any part of the next day, you have a third day. So to the Jew, Thursday afternoon would be one day. Thursday night to Friday, at 6 p.m. would be another day. And then from Friday 6 p.m. to Saturday night 6 p.m. would be another day. And they considered a day an evening and a morning, like it says in Genesis. So it's very easy to get to 3 days and 3 nights if you use Jewish reckoning. But if you want more scientific, you go to Harold Honer, and he talks about how that operates, because even in the regnal years, that's the years of the kings of Judah, if they became king on the 31st, on January 1st, they were in their second year of reigning. How'd you like to get your retirement benefits that way? I mean, 2 days, you have 2 years credit already. And it wasn't that Harold Honer made this up. Jews were so meticulously following the Genesis 1, evening and morning makes a day, that anything before an evening is another day. But at evening, a new day starts. And in the morning, it completes that day, and when the evening, you're in another day. And they can to the Jews, they didn't have any trouble with 3 days and 3 nights. They didn't think of 72 hours. They thought of any part of one day, all of another, and any part of another. And so with that, Honer goes in and shows some years we could have had a Wednesday beginning of Passion Week. Others have a Thursday. Others have a Friday. And by the way, if you want to know, MacArthur at times is here, Swindoll at times is here, and Honer at times is here, this guy. They, depending on what year you're talking about, they have crucifixions that are all over the place. It depends on when the full moon was, because, and the answer to what Andrew's saying is, Easter on a Sunday, that we have nowadays has nothing to do with the Bible, because it was instituted by the Catholic Church to detach it from the Passover. The way that you know when the crucifixion is watch the Jewish calendar, and when Passover is close to what we call Resurrection Sunday, bingo, you're on a biblical calendar. But we'll pick up with that, and I'll give you some charts and everything. So